And now for a talk with that outstanding tenor, Jon Vickers. Mr. Vickers, is it true that when Sir David Webster of Covent Garden discovered you in Canada, you were a sort of backwoodsman, felling trees?
Well, no, not really. I was the son of the Depression, you know. My father was a schoolmaster, and I had 4 brothers and 3 sisters. And every one of us knew the meaning of work. And all of us learned to work hard at anything we did. Didn't matter whether it was physical or mental work.
What part of Canada?
Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, the breadbasket of Canada, where they have the wheat-growing area, you know.
Mm. And what kind of hard work did you do then as a youngster?
Well, every kind. I mean, from the time I was a little lad, 6 years of age, we had our chores to do at home, and perhaps this is the reason why this idea has grown that I was sort of a woodsman, because I stood on the other end of a saw with my father many, many hours and cut wood to burn to keep ourselves warm in the wintertime. And Prince Albert, of course, is one of the very, very coldest parts of Canada. I have personally experienced 65 below zero, you know.
Mm. On the other hand, when one sees you dressed for an operatic role, when one sees your legs, sometimes, if you'll forgive my saying so, one wonders where the horses got to.
Yes, that's right. Well, I always say, you know, that we were catching pigs one day and one ran between without giving me any warning.
Then how did you make your breakthrough? How did you get to singing?
Well, it's very strange, really, because I never had any ambition to be a singer. A professional singer, that is. My whole life as a young man, singing in every other ways was very, very involved in church work. And from the time I was a little lad, I sang in church choirs right up until I was a man after my voice broke. And this particular kind of talent, if you want to call it that I have, was sort of looked on as a talent that shouldn't be charged for.
You mean it's a divine gift?
Yes, a divine gift. And for a long, long time, even when I was church soloist to some of the very big churches in Canada, I would refuse to take salary. It was very hard for me at one time to even reconcile myself to the sort of obvious thing that was happening to me, that every door was being opened to me with my singing. And although I was, as a fairly young man, an assistant manager of quite a large store in Winnipeg, Manitoba, I really didn't feel that the business world was mine, you know. I wanted to be in the business world, and I really worked hard at it, and I think at 22 there was ample evidence that I was going to make a reasonably good career in the business world. But doors kept opening for me in music, and I just sort of walked through them, you know. Doors just opened. At one point, back in 1955, I thought that my career was coming to an end. And so I made all preparation to go back into the business world. And then right out of the blue, when everything had come to the end as far as Canada was concerned, all of a sudden, all the international doors were thrown open. In a 4-week period, I was offered performances with the New York Operatic Society, the San Francisco Opera Company, recording with RCA and the Chicago Symphony, performances in New Orleans and Barcelona, Spain, and a contract here in the Roll-Up House. All happened in 4 weeks. It was just incredible to me, and when all my plans were made to quit singing the 30th of June 1956, between the 9th of May and the 13th of June of that year was when all these offers came. And it was a big wrench in my life because I had to readjust all my thinking about whether I'd go on with it or not.
But you wouldn't easily give it up now. Not with the world at your feet.
Well, it's very funny. People say that, you say it, but I don't really feel that the world is at my feet and never have, and I don't think I ever could. My voice teacher, he said, always remember that your voice is a juicy orange, John. And every head of an opera company, every manager, every concert agency will try to suck every bit of juice out of it that they can get out of it. But never forget what they do with an orange peel. But he said, on the other hand, while you remember that, if ever you get to the place when you really think you know how to sing, I beg of you to open the score of the box at Matthew Passion. And those were very wise words, because I defy anybody to open the St. Matthew Passion and really come to the conclusion they know how to sing.
Do you find difficulty in singing in Italy?
I do not sing very much in Italy, for the simple reason that I think it is common knowledge that the Italian people, as operatic people, are chauvinistic. I could name you 5 or 6 of the great singers of history who have been failures in Teatro La Scala. That is not an indictment of those 5 great singers. It is unfortunately a weakness in the Italian public. The Italians, when they come here and perform in their Italian way, they will say the same thing. They'll say, well, it's a weakness in the English makeup. And we tend to think that our approach is right and the others are wrong. And I won't go so far as to say that, I'm glad I'm accepted here in this country. England has been very, very good to me. But I have, by the same token, managed to sing in La Scala, and even with a reasonable success.
You live in an age, or you sing in an age, where the prima donna doesn't necessarily mean the singer anymore. It can often mean the producer, and it can often mean the conductor. Have you suffered particularly in this respect?
I will not suffer prima donnas. And I don't care who they are, if they are singers or producers or whatever they are, conductors. I will suffer them once, and then I will say, I'm sorry, life is too short. You must next time work with someone else. A lot of people have tabbed me as being exceedingly temperamental because of that attitude with certain people. But that is my honest feeling. Life is far too short. There are too many opera houses. There are too many wonderful opportunities to work in this world. And there's no point in beating your head against the wall trying to cope with someone who's trying to play God.
Mm. I once heard you singing, and the orchestra was much too loud all the way through. I noticed it was being broadcast, and I noticed you didn't move in that particular act. You just stuck by the microphone.
You are too observant. That's all I can say. Well, I have never worked under those circumstances since. As perhaps you know, there are so many other places and so many other people.
Which record of yours do you like best?
Oh, my goodness. I think my LP of arias, because of my great collaboration with the late Tullio Serafin, this wonderful, wonderful man. The previous year, I had recorded Otello with him, and after I'd finished the recording of Otello, he was so kind, and he said to me, you know, I would like very much, Mr. Vickers, to record Andrea Chenier with you. And I looked, and I was very surprised, taken back by Serafin. I said, I did not think that you felt this opera so highly. And he said, no, John. He said, Andrea Chenier is not one of the greatest operas, but Giordano was a very great friend of mine. And I took that as a great compliment. And the following year, when I was asked by the recording company to make an LP of arias, I asked for Serafin to conduct if he would, and he consented, and I did the 2 arias from Chenier. And when I finished recording them, he said to me, you feel the part of Andrea Chenier too deeply.